Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing our Nightworms 2025 unboxing. For those of you who do not know, Nightworms is a monthly horror book subscription box that I've been subscribed to since like April of 2020, I want to say. And every month you get 2 items to read along with like a bookmark, some stickers or magnets, and like something to drink, so a tea, chocolate, or coffee. You will usually get new releases, recently like reprinted, exclusive printings, like sometimes you'll even get like stuff early, which is really fun, like stuff before it's even been released to the general public. As you can see, I've been subscribed to Nightworms for over 5 years. This is the first year where I haven't felt super compelled by Nightworms, so I'm using the end of 2025 to kind of determine if I'm going to keep the subscription box. However, November is the last month of their spoilers. They are going back to giving you clues and hints about what the books might be and no longer revealing what the books are. I wonder if that's because people are canceling their subscriptions or skipping a lot of subscriptions because they've been seeing books that they're not interested in reading, or books that might not fully be horror. They've had a couple that lean more like dark fantasy. They've had a couple that are like kind of like thriller, like slow burn gothic, but not necessarily horror recently. And a ton by authors that I am unfamiliar with. And then they've had a couple books that I have been really disappointed by. So this year has not been my favorite for Nightworms, but we're gonna wait and see how 2025 carries on, and obviously I do want to see what the December box is, as well as this box. I have no spoilers for the December box. I did have spoilers for this, but I do not remember off the top of my head what is in here. So let's open it up and see what we have. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, this is a box that retails for $39.99 every single month, plus shipping and handling. So for me, that comes out to just under $50 every month. So not terrible. It's definitely cheaper than Twisted Retreat, but you do tend to get a lot more in Twisted Retreat. Okay, so we have our bag open. Let's grab what we have. Oh, okay, right off the top, we have Riddle's Tea Shop and Curiosities. This is the Witch's Harvest Tea, it looks like. It is a black tea and white tea with blueberries, peach flavor, apple, caramel, apricots, marigold, it says. I really like Riddle's Tea Shop. I've been very impressed with every tea I've gotten from them, so excited for this. Okay, our little goodie bag is right here. Alrighty, so this month's theme is Demons Within. It's kind of hard to read, but you do have a little demon kind of crawling out of an eye, it looks like, which is then carried over in a much creepier fashion on this side. I do love the Nightworms bookmarks. They're probably one of my favorite things about the box. I like that they're all done by the same artist. They feel very cohesive. They're really cool. And then we get a bunch of stuff here. So I'm going to put the spoiler card over to the side. We get a print. I'm assuming this is something that has to do with one of the books that we have. That's cool. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it's very pretty to look at. Let's see if y'all can see that. We then get 1 signed book plate over here and 2 stickers. So the first one is a little skull with some mushrooms in it and a book coming out of it and some ghosts reading. Weird, so like Spore, but like books and ghosts on the brain, I guess is maybe what that's supposed to be. And then we have one that says, I should really go to bed, but the demons compel me, with this little demon here. We got a sticker in a recent box that had a figure very similar in style to this, so I bet you they're working with the same artist on that. That's pretty cool. All right, and then we have 2 books. So I'm gonna grab the paperback first. And so this is The Night Is Not For You. It Has Always Belonged to Her by Iman Kota. I have not heard of this author or this book, but let's read what it is about. When her sense of safety is shattered, a young girl realizes she must become something untamable, even otherworldly, to find freedom. In this visceral coming-of-age horror debut, a man's body is found viciously murdered behind a neighborhood corner store, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community. All that the victim's family and bystanders want is to make sense of this brutal crime and to move on with their lives. All 7-year-old Layla wants is a pet donkey. To her, a donkey is the epitome of freedom, the ability to think for herself, go anywhere by herself, and live an independent life. The killings continue, and rumors fly of supposed hoof prints and a woman with hair like black silk. The ambiguous messages in lipstick and the sweet smell of perfume at the crime scenes cause the men to suspect the women around them. As Layla's world unravels, she realizes she must grow into the type of woman she's always dreamed of becoming. A woman with sharp instincts, a woman who cannot be tamed. Okay. I'm unsure of exactly what this book is about. So there's that. The donkey thing is cool. I wonder where this was originally written. I feel like this is not set in America, but this does not seem to tell me. Maybe there's a little about the author moment. No, there isn't. Okay. A 7-year-old protagonist. That's a little creepy. That kind of gives incidents around the house vibes. I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm really interested to see how the setting plays into this. So very cool. A little crime thriller there. Okay, and then next we have, ooh, this is pretty, Demon Song by Kelsey Yu. It's our hardback. Just a little short read here. Yeah, just about like 150 pages it looks like. But definitely a very pretty cover. Okay, and I'm assuming that this maybe is what this is related to. They seem very similar in imagery. Okay, so it says, places like this have a history, desires, and this one is famished. Megan and her mom are on the run after narrowly escaping the clutches of an abusive man who dragged them from Portland to Beijing. With few options, Megan's mom turns to an old friend who offers them room and board in Huahuang Opera Theater, in exchange for cleaning the ancient building. Between her rusty Mandarin and constant reminders that she's an outsider, Megan struggles with loneliness, until she meets Christy, the glamorous young lead in the operatic adaptation of The Monkey King and the White Bone Demon. Soon, Megan's free time is split between reading a battered copy of the Chinese classic that inspired the opera and her budding new friendship. Christy's love of singing brings out Megan's long-buried ambitions. But the opera house has its secrets. There are passages within the walls that shouldn't be there, and the more Megan delves into the old book, the more the myths begin to bleed into real life. As Megan finds it increasingly difficult to separate reality from folklore, she must uncover a decades-old mystery to discover the true, horrifying secret of the opera house before it casts its hungry eyes on her. Okay. This is listed as horror. I do like that there's going to be a lot of Chinese folklore in that. I think that's really cool, and I think the setting is really cool. I hope that this is horror and not just like kind of like dark fantasy, because I'm kind of a little worried that that might be where this is going. So do with that what you will. Okay, so let's go through our spoiler card. So we have The Demon Song by Kelsey Yu, The Night Is Not For You by Iman Kota, The Ghost Within graphic, which I believe is this one, The Demons Compel Me graphic, The Demons Within bookmark, and The Witch's Harvest Tea. Okay, so it says nothing about this, but this is definitely like the Demon Song print that goes with it. That's really cool. And then this, I believe, is the book plate for The Night Is Not For You, because it kind of lines up like perfectly with it. Okay, interesting. Again, these are just two authors that I've never heard of before. I wonder if, was this a debut? I don't see any other books that have been written by Kelsey Yu, but maybe they have. I just don't know. I'm a little worried that these aren't like super traditional horror. I feel like this is going to definitely lean far more thriller. I feel like this might delve into fantasy, but I could be totally wrong. I really am judging the books by the synopses and the covers. And I haven't heard of these authors. I haven't heard of these books before. Maybe I'm a little out of the loop, but I really miss the time of Nightworms when they really like hit the nail on the head by giving the readers books that we were all really excited about and we're gonna buy anyway. I have a whole stack of books that I'm spending like $50 a month on with Nightworms, of authors that I don't know if I'm gonna read anytime soon, or when I do read them, I just kind of am like, that was okay. And I know they've been doing a lot of like indie female authors and a lot of like debut books as well. But it does concern me just a little bit that we aren't kind of getting the heavy hitters like we used to. We used to get Paul Tremblay and Grady Hendrix and Stephen Graham Jones and a lot of like the big names in the horror publishing world, and we haven't really been getting those. So I don't know. Like I mean, Rachel Harrison just released something, you know, and we did get Anya Allborn is great, but we have Darcy Coates. Darcy Coates just released How Bad Things Can Get, which I'm going to be reviewing very, very soon. I just finished it. It's phenomenal. So yeah, there's been a lot of books that I feel like maybe I wish had been chosen from Nightworms and weren't, and then a lot of books that I just don't know if I'm ever going to read. So that's my thought currently on the November Nightworms. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this box and whether you guys think I should keep it into 2026. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys today. As always, I try to post 2, sometimes 3 times a week, and if you enjoyed these videos, please hit the like, subscribe buttons down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Mwah!